gonna cast on 65 stitches, 64 for the pattern and 1 for joining the round. I'm gonna do the Italian or tubular cast on. I'm gonna briefly explain how to do it. I did it more detailed in my other video. And I'm gonna cast on now on my short circular needles that are so great for hats. So let's start. This is the tail that I left for the cast on, and this is the yarn from the ball, and this is how you put the yarn. And we start like this. This is the first stitch, and it's gonna be the one I'm gonna use for joining the round. And then we start with the knit stitch and then a purl stitch, a knit and a purl. And I'm just gonna take this tail so that you won't hear that horrible sound. So let's see, we have 5, so we know that the even number is the knit stitch like this, and then the odd number is a purl stitch. You can see that they are different. This is, I say it's a purl stitch because you can see it has this line like a purl stitch, and it's gonna be, when you do the ribbing, it shows like a purl stitch. So let's continue. A knit stitch, then a purl stitch, a knit and a purl. And like I said, if you don't know which one you have to do, you just count them, and since we started with a purl one, the even number is a knit stitch and an odd number is a purl stitch. So here I cast on 60 stitches, and I'm gonna continue. 61, 62, 63, 64, and 1 for joining the round, and the last stitch that we're casting on when Italian or tubular method, we're gonna do it like the usual cast on, so we can block all the stitches. After that, you just look on your stitches and make sure that they're not twisted. So I have made sure that all my stitches, that I don't have twisted stitches, and I just spread them like this to the entire length of the needles. And now I'm gonna join the round, and I'm gonna do it like I usually do. I just take the stitch from the left needle, I slip it to the right needle, and then I pass over the last stitch that I cast on, and then slip from the needle that stitch. And this one I'm just gonna tighten it, and here it is. And now we put a marker because this is the beginning of the round, and we're gonna start knitting with this first color that we cast on, and this is gonna be the main color. We're gonna start knitting round number 1, and we start with a knit 1. There it is. I'm just gonna pull them more to the left needle like this, so we can continue. So the repeat for this round is knit 1, slip 1 yarn over, very easy. Knit 1 and slip 1 yarn over means you put the needle under the yarn and then slip purlwise the stitch from the needle. There you go. So that's the whole repeat for this entire round. So here I'm finishing the first round. Knit one, slip on yarn over, knit one, slip on yarn over the last stitch, and I lost my first stitch. Here it is. So move the marker, pick up the second color yarn, just leave the tail like in the back of the work, and we're gonna start round number 2, and we start by slip on yarn over and then brioche purl. Brioche purl means that you purl together the stitch and the yarn over from the previous row. So there it is. Slip on yarn over. I'm gonna move around the stitches. So slip on yarn over and brioche purl. Slip on yarn over, brioche purl. So this is the repeat. You just do it until you get to the marker. So here I'm finishing round number 2. Slip on yarn over, brioche purl, slip on yarn over, brioche purl. Pay attention to have the yarn here, the yarn over, and just brioche purl. And we leave the first color yarn. We pick up the second color yarn. We pick up the first color's yarn, and as you can see, the second one is like over it because it is like this on the right side, and we leave it like this on the left side. We just put the marker on the right needle and start around number 3, and it's gonna be very easy. We're gonna repeat brioche knit, slip on yarn over. Brioche knit means you knit together the stitch and the yarn over that you did in the previous round. So slip on yarn over, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip on yarn over. That's what you have to repeat until you get to the marker. And so you can continue repeating these 2 rows, 2 and 3, and have the rib of the hat. So here I have 18 rounds of brioche rib, and I have 3.5 centimeters of this rib, and until now I have knitted with 275 millimeters needles, or number 2 US. And now when I'm getting to the pattern, I'm gonna change the needles to a larger size, and I'm gonna knit it with 325 millimeters, or number 3 US. So this is just a row when we increase the stitches, so that the rib is more tight than the rest of the hat. So we just, like I told you, you leave the second color yarn like this upwards, and I'm gonna just put the marker on this needle if I'm not gonna lose it, and we're gonna start the repeat. So since I have cast on 64 stitches and the repeat is 16 stitches, I'm gonna have 4 repeats of the pattern. Let's start, and the pattern is gonna be an increase. We start with an increase. That's how we do it. Brioche knit, don't slip the stitch, yarn over, brioche knit. Now you can slip the stitch from the needle. I'm gonna put it like this so you don't get confused. So after that, slip on yarn over, then 2 brioche knit columns, that's 1, slip on yarn over in between, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, and again an increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, again slip on yarn over, and an increase right here in the next column, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit. After that, 2 brioche knit columns and slip on yarn over, obviously, in between, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, and now we're doing again an increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip on yarn over, and that's the whole repeat. So basically we started with an increase, and we're gonna finish with an increase, and when you're gonna look at your knitting or at your work, you're gonna see increase, 2 brioche knit columns, 2 increase, 2 normal no increases, and you repeat this until you get to the marker, to the end of the round. So I've finished this round number 19, in fact, if you're counting all the ribbing rounds. So after each, this was the first pattern round, kind of. This is not the repeated round, but it still is the pattern round because we did the increases. And after each pattern round, we're gonna knit rounds 2, 3, and 2 again. So I'm gonna show you what happens where you get to these 3 increased stitches when you do the second round. Slip on yarn over, purl 1 stitch instead of brioche purl like you were supposed to in round number 2, and again slip on yarn over. After that you continue the repeat as usual, brioche purl, slip on yarn over, brioche purl, slip on yarn over, brioche purl, and we get again to the increased stitches, and we continue slip on yarn over, and kind of like it's like you continue, but except of the brioche purl, you just purl 1 stitch. You just have to remember that when you get to the increased stitches, you don't have here a stitch and a yarn over, just 1 stitch, and slip on yarn over, and continue this round number 2. Then you make 1 round in color 1, and you brioche knit every brioche knit column and slip on yarn over in between, and then again you knit round number 2 with color 2 yarn when you slip on yarn over and brioche purl in repeat. After that we're gonna do the first repeated pattern round. This round was, like I said, just for the increasing, to make the hat larger than the ribbing. And so the next round we're gonna start the pattern. Round number 23. At the beginning I said that this pattern is a 16 stitches repeat, but actually is a 24 stitches repeat. But I said 16 because in the beginning we have 16 stitches, and then after all these increases that we did in the previous row, we have 96 stitches totally, and that means 24 stitches repeat. And we're gonna start the repeat by doing a right slant decrease. So we slip knitwise the brioche stitch, that means the stitch and the yarn over, knit the next one, pass over that slipped stitch like this, then slip the stitch to the left needle and pass over the next brioche stitch. So that's a right slant decrease. Slip the stitch to the right needle, and that's it for that. Slip one yarn over. In the next column we're gonna do an increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip on yarn over, and then we're gonna brioche knit 2 columns. So that's 1, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, and then we're gonna do again an increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit. After that we're gonna slip on yarn over and do a left slant decrease. So for that, slip knitwise the brioche stitch, and then I'm gonna show you one way and then the other way that you can do that. So one way is to knit together 2 brioche stitches. That means actually 3, 1 stitch and a yarn over and another stitch. So you knit them together and then pass over that first slip stitch. So this is one way, and shortly I'm going to show you the other way. Slip on yarn over, normally knit 1 brioche knit column, slip on yarn over, and here we're going to do an increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch, and slip on yarn over. And here in these 2 columns we're gonna do again a left slant decrease, and I'm gonna show you how to do it the other way. Slip knitwise the brioche stitch, and now instead of knitting them together you knit just 1 stitch, slip it to the left needle, pass over the next brioche stitch, and at this point it is the same as if to knit together these 2 stitches, then slip the stitch to the right needle and pass over that first slip stitch. So these are the 2 ways that you can do the left slant decrease, so you can choose which one you like more. And in the end we do a slip on yarn over, and this is the whole repeat, and we have 24 stitches. Since we have only 4 repeats and it's kind of big, the 1 repeat, you can put a marker and define the end of each repeat, and then you just know that after each marker you start over the repeat, the pattern from the beginning. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start over with right slant decrease, and so on like I showed you. So after this row, after you finish the whole round, you knit around 2, 3 and 2 again, and we're gonna continue with the pattern rounds. Around 27, and we're starting the repeat with 6 brioche knit columns. So that's 1, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 3, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 4, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 5, slip on yarn over, and brioche knit 6, slip on yarn over. After that, in the next column we do the increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip on yarn over, and now a left slant decrease, so slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit together 2 brioche stitches, and pass over that first slip stitch. After that, slip on yarn over and brioche knit the 3 columns that we have left in this repeat. So brioche knit, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, second brioche knit, slip on yarn over, and the 3rd time brioche knit, slip on yarn over. And this is the whole repeat. As I said in the previous row, I put the markers. I have 3 markers like this that define the end of the repeat, and this one that defines the beginning of the round. So I'm just gonna repeat 3 times more the thing that I've knitted so far right now in this round, and after that knit around 2, 3 and 2 again, and then we're gonna do the next pattern round number 31, and we start the repeat with the right slant decrease, slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit the next one, pass over that slipped stitch, slip the stitch to the left needle, and pass over the next brioche stitch, slip the stitch to the right needle. After that, slip on yarn over, and here we're gonna do the increase, 2 stitches increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 1 column, slip on yarn over, and again we're gonna do the right slant decrease. So slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit the next one, pass over, slip the stitch to the left needle, and pass over the next brioche stitch, slip the stitch to the right needle, and that's it. After that, slip on yarn over and do the 2 stitches increase. So brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit. After that, slip on yarn over and brioche knit 2 columns. 1, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over. In the next column we're going to do the increase, so brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch from the needle, and we have 2 columns left, and we're going to do slip on yarn over, I forgot, and we're going to do a left slant decrease. So slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit together 2 brioche stitches, and pass over that first slipped stitch. After that, slip on yarn over and begin the repeat from the start. After this round, you knit again rounds 2, 3 and 2, and we're gonna continue. Round number 35, and let's start the repeat. We start with 3 brioche knit columns, so that's 1, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 3, slip on yarn over, and now we're going to do a right slant decrease, slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit the next one, pass over the slipped stitch, slip the stitch to the left needle, and pass over the next brioche stitch, slip the stitch to the right needle. After that, slip on yarn over and 2 stitches increase, so brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch from the needle, slip on yarn over, and the rest 6 columns that we have left, we just brioche knit them. So that's 1, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 3, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 4, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 5, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 6, slip on yarn over, and that's the whole repeat. After that, you knit a row around 2, 3 and 2 again, and then you repeat rounds from 23 to 38. I have knitted 3 repeats of the pattern, and this is what I have. I have 70 rounds, and in centimeters that is 16, and in inch it's 4.5. Round 71, and we begin to decrease for the top of the hat, and it's gonna be kind of the same pattern that we started with, but a little bit different. So I'm gonna show you. We begin with a right slant decrease, slip the stitch, knit the next one, pass over, slip to the left needle and pass over the next brioche stitch, slip the stitch to the right needle, slip on yarn over, and here we're gonna skip the increase part. We're just gonna brioche knit 3 brioche knit columns. So that's 1, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 3, slip on yarn over, and now we're gonna increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit. After that, left slant decrease, slip on yarn over, and the left slant decrease, slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit together the next brioche stitches and pass over that slipped stitch. After that, slip on yarn over and brioche knit 2 columns. So that's 1, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, and in the last 2 columns we're gonna do a left slant decrease. So slip the brioche stitch, knit together 2 brioche stitches and then pass over that slipped stitch, slip on yarn over. So this is the whole repeat. You do that 3 more times for this round, and then after that you repeat. There are 2 possibilities. You can either just do one round in the main color and do the decreases, and then in the second color you just brioche purl as usual, and then the next round again you do the decreases, and this way you're gonna have a smaller top and it's gonna be more pointy. And or the other way, you can do as we did until now. After each round where you decrease, you repeat rounds 2, 3 and 2 again. So you purl, then knit, no decreases, and then purl again, and just after that you can do again a round with the decreases. This way you're gonna have a more flat top. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just gonna do it and I'm gonna show you what I did, and you're gonna decide what you want to do for yourself. Round number 75, we start with a right slant decrease. So slip knitwise the first stitch, knit the next one, pass over the slip stitch, slip the stitch to the left needle and pass over the next stitch, slip the stitch to the right needle, slip on yarn over. After that, brioche knit 3 columns. So that's 1, slip on yarn over, 2, slip on yarn over, 3, slip on yarn over, and now we're gonna do the increase. So brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch from the needle, and now we're gonna do a slip on yarn over and then a left slant decrease. So slip the brioche stitch, knit 2 brioche stitches and pass over the slip stitch. After that, slip on yarn over and again a left slant decrease. So slip knitwise, knit together and pass over the slipped stitch, slip on yarn over, and that's the whole repeat for this round. After you finish knitting the whole round, knit rounds 2, 3 and 2 again. Round number 79, we're gonna start with a right slant decrease. So slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit the next one, pass over that first slipped stitch, slip the stitch to the left needle and pass over the stitch to the right needle. After that, slip on yarn over and again right slant decrease. So slip knitwise, knit the next one, pass over, slip to the left needle and pass over, slip to the right needle After that, slip on yarn over, increase, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch from the needle, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 1 column, slip on yarn over, and then in the last 2 columns of the repeat we're gonna do a left slide decrease. So slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit together the next 2 brioche stitches, pass over that first slipped stitch, slip on yarn over, and that's the whole repeat. So you finish the round and then knit rounds 2, 3 and 2 again. Round number 83, we start with the right slide decrease, slip the stitch knitwise, knit the next one, pass over, slip the stitch to the left needle and pass over the next stitch, slip the stitch to the right needle. After that we brioche knit 2 columns, slip on yarn over, brioche knit 2, slip on yarn over, and in these 2 columns that we have left we're gonna do a left slide decrease. So slip knitwise the brioche stitch, I'm gonna just knit 1 stitch and pass it over, pass over the next one, slip to the right needle and pass over that first slipped stitch, slip on yarn over, and that's the whole repeat. So as you can see, after round 79 I have start working with my long needles because I'm working with a magic loop, so it's easier when we have just a few stitches left. So after finishing this round you knit round 2, 3 and 2 again. For those who doesn't know how to work with the magic loop, I'm gonna show it. So you divide the stitches in half and then you leave 1/2 on the left needle, and then I leave just a small loop here just to know where the division is. Even if it's not so important that it's really a half, you can just divide it and you start working with the right needle. I'm gonna put the marker on, even if in 2-color brioche you know where the start is because you have the other color yarn, so you know, doesn't matter. I put the marker and I'm gonna knit around 87 and I'm gonna start with right slide decrease. So slip knitwise the stitch, knit the next one, slip it to the left needle, then slip to the left needle and pass over the stitch and slip it to the right needle, slip on yarn over, and then a left slide decrease. So slip knitwise the brioche stitch, knit the next one, slip it to the left needle, pass over the next brioche stitch, slip it to the right needle and pass over that first slipped stitch, slip on yarn over, and that's the whole repeat. I have 2 on my needle and the other 2 repeats on my other needle, it's on the cord now. So I'm gonna finish this round, then knit rounds 2, 3 and 2 again. Round number 91, and if you don't like to knit with just a few stitches, you can skip it. You can just knit this brioche knit this first stitch and then pass over the rest of the stitch and then just cast off like we're gonna do in row 93, but if you want you can do it right now. You have 16 brioche stitches, so it's not that much. I'm gonna do this row also, so around, and it's gonna be only it's just right slant decrease 4 times and slip on yarn over in between. So I'm slipping knitwise for the right slant decrease, pass over, slip the stitch to the left needle and pass over the next stitch. So that's one, slip on yarn over. That's, I'm not showing just one repeat, I'm showing the entire row. So this is one repeat. For one repeat you have a right slant decrease and a slip on yarn over. So again, right slant decrease, and a slip on yarn over. And I'm gonna move the stitches around to work them, so you can see how I'm using the magic loop. And again we're gonna do the right slant decrease, slip on yarn over, and the last right slant decrease, and slip on yarn over. So that's it. And now we're gonna knit with the other yarn, just one round of the second yarn. It's like round number 2. So slip on yarn over, brioche purl, slip on yarn over, brioche purl. That's one needle, and then from the other needle slip on yarn over, brioche purl, slip on yarn over, and I'm putting the yarn, so I have made a brioche purl, not just a purl. So brioche purl, and now I'm putting the left needle, and we're gonna just cast off all the stitches. This tail, we don't need it anymore, so we can cut it. So I'm gonna just leave a tail of, I don't know, like a palm long, maybe more. If you want you can leave more, but you don't need more. And I'm cutting it, and I'm putting it inside, because I'm gonna hide it on the stitches of the other color. So you pick up the first color yarn, and we're gonna brioche knit this first stitch, slip it to the left needle, and then pass over all the other stitches that we have on the needle, like this. You can do it yarn over and stitch, or the two together, doesn't matter. So now I have only one stitch left, and these stitches that were on the cord. So continue. And I lost the stitch. Now I got it. Here it is. And I'm gonna just make it larger. Here, I don't need the needles anymore. We're gonna make larger and just pass the yarn through this loop. I'm gonna cut it too, like this long. Maybe even this long is too much. Like this, like 30 centimeters max. Yes. And we pass the tail in this loop. We just have to weave in the tails, and that's it. So here is what I have in the end. 23.5 centimeters multiplied by 2, it's 47, and an inch, 7 inch, so 14 inch total. And in height it's 21 centimeters, and an inch, that's 6 and almost a half. So that's what we get in the end. And this is the other side.